Hey, if you're a dog owner here in Fredericksburg, you already know this is just a fantastic city for our dogs. So in this explainer, we're going to walk through a really practical guide to finding that perfect local trainer to make your life together even more awesome.
You know, living with the dog here, it's a special kind of experience, isn't it? One day you're strolling through the historic downtown. The next you're hitting a trail along the Rappahannock. Maybe you even find yourself navigating the crowds at a First Friday event. And you know, a well-trained dog can take all of that in stride, just calmly and confidently.
So here's our plan. First, we'll touch on what makes having a dog in Fredericksburg so unique. Then we'll get into defining your training goals, exploring all the options out there, figuring out how to choose the right pro, and then, the fun part, we'll talk about some great local spots to go practice.
And that local context is so important. I mean, good training isn't just about sit and stay in your living room, right? It's about getting your dog ready for the real world, our world, here in Fredericksburg. A trainer who really gets our city, that can make a huge difference in your results.
Just think about it for a second. You need a dog who can walk calmly past all the tourists down in the historic district, right? Or stay focused on you when another dog passes on the canal path. You want to be able to sit down and enjoy a meal on Caroline Street without a big scene. These are the real practical skills that just make life in the city so much more enjoyable for everyone.
All right, so first things first, this step is all about you. Before you even think about looking for a trainer, you've got to have a really clear idea of what you're trying to accomplish.
So just take a second and really think about it. Is there one specific behavior that's causing you stress? Or are you maybe just hoping to build a stronger bond and have a more reliable buddy? Getting really specific right now is going to make your search so much easier down the road. A lot of us dog owners in the area are dealing with really similar stuff. Maybe you've got a new puppy who needs socialization and all the basics, or maybe it's an adult dog who's a master leash puller or gets a little too excited when people come over. Pinpointing your specific need, whether it's basic obedience or something a bit more complex like reactivity, that's absolutely the key. Okay, so once you've got your goals figured out, it's time to look at how you're going to get there. There are a few different ways to go about training, and really the best one for you is going to depend on your dog's personality, your schedule, and of course, the specific things you want to work on.
Now, one of the most effective and frankly kindest approaches is called positive reinforcement. The whole idea is pretty simple. You reward the behavior you want to see more of. This method does more than just teach commands. It really builds a strong, trusting relationship and actually makes learning fun for your dog.
The two options you'll see most often are group classes and private lessons. Group classes, they're fantastic for general manners and for teaching your dog to focus when there are other dogs and people around. Private lessons, though, they give you a totally customized plan that's tailored exactly to your dog's needs, and they often happen right in your own home, where the problems are actually happening. And there are other great choices out there, too. You've got day training, which is a lifesaver if your schedule is packed. Then there are board and train programs. Those are really intensive, immersive experiences for some of the bigger challenges. And like we mentioned, in-home training is just perfect for tackling those issues right where they pop up, like, say, barking at the mail carrier every single day.
All right, you've got your goals, you know what kinds of training are available, so what's next? How do you actually go about vetting and picking the right professional for you and your dog?
A really good place to start is by looking at credentials. I know, these acronyms can look a little like alphabet soup, but what they really represent is a trainer's commitment to their education and to professional standards. Something like a CPDTK or a KPA-CTP shows a solid foundation in training. And if you see an IABC or CBCCKA, that usually points to expertise in more complex behavior stuff. And of course, we have to talk about budget. That's just a practical reality. This table should give you a pretty realistic snapshot of what training costs are looking like here in the Fredericksburg area for 2025. As you can see, the costs can vary quite a bit depending on what you're looking for, from group classes all the way up to those intensive board and train programs.
When you're talking to a potential trainer, just having a few key questions ready to go can make a world of difference. Definitely ask about their methods. You're really hoping to hear a focus on positive reinforcement. Ask about their credentials. Try to understand how they're going to tailor the plan specifically for your dog and how you'll both track progress. And of course, get a clear picture on all the costs and policies right from the start.
So finding a great trainer and going to the sessions, that's just the start. The real magic? That happens when you take all those new skills and you put them to work out in the real world. And luckily for us, Fredericksburg has some really fantastic spots to do just that.
Okay, for working on stuff like recall, getting your dog to come when you call them, and practicing polite greetings with other dogs, a fenced-in area is just perfect. Alum Spring Park Dog Park is a wonderful, safe spot for practicing these kinds of off-leash skills. Pro tip, try going during the quieter times of the day.
Now, when you feel like you're ready to work on focus and leash manners with some real-world distractions, the trails out at Mott's Run are perfect for that. It's a great place to practice keeping your dog's attention on you while hikers, cyclists, and maybe even some wildlife pass by. It helps build a really solid foundation for pretty much any trail you might want to explore later.
And what about practicing that nice, calm, loose leash walk in a busier spot? I'd say head down to Old Mill Park. You've got the river views, other families around, the weekend crowds. It gives you just the right amount of distraction to really test and strengthen your dog's impulse control and their focus on you.
At the end of the day, investing in training really just opens up your entire world. A well-behaved dog makes every single walk through our beautiful city a joy. It makes every visit from friends a calm, happy event, and it makes every chat with a neighbor a positive one. We wish you and your dog the absolute best on your training journey together.